Getting runoff can be a vital strategy for maintaining a healthy cannabis plant. It's the same way after getting shit-faced at the bar, you go home and piss for 3 minutes contemplating why she doesn't love you. If you're growing in organic soil or living soil, you probably won't want to have runoff to avoid washing out all the nutrients anyways. With that being said though, runoff is literally the extra nutrient water that drains out of the bottom of your pot after you feed. Inside a grow tent, and especially in a substrate like cocoa, your medium acts like a sponge. As the plant drinks water, it leaves raw minerals and salts behind in the rhizosphere, or the root zone. So if you never get runoff, the leftover salts build up, crust, and strangle the roots. Compare this to an organic soil that releases nutrients slowly over time. If you're getting runoff, you'll need a saucer or some way to prevent the water from just going everywhere. I use those and risers because I'm using fabric pots, and if you don't, you'll have to angle drain, so just something to keep in mind. Once you get runoff, it's a good idea to test it for acidity, or like pH, and electrical conductivity, EC. To define pH more simply, it stands for potential hydrogen, and it's a scale from 1 to 14 that measures how acidic or alkaline your water is. pH is like a booty hole, right? You can only get inside if you prepare it correctly. Cannabis roots can only absorb nutrients like nitrogen, calcium, or magnesium when the levels are in a very specific sweet spot. Well, that sweet spot is actually more like a sweet range. It's around 5.5 to 6.2 for cocoa and 6 to 7 for soil, but your mileage may vary. If your water is at a pH of 7.5, then your plant is sitting in a buffet of food, but its mouth is sewn shut. It will starve, and that will lead to ugly leaf spots or wilting, even if you feed more, or the most expensive shit you can find. I've been in this situation a lot, and it took me a while to realize it was the pH, and when I finally found the reason, it was too late, and my yield and my quality were mid. Testing pH though is pretty easy. You can find reasonably priced pH meters, but beware the cheap stuff, man. Probably won't last you long, but it's up to you. My advice is to look for an accuracy rating and confidence interval of like 0.01 or better. Automatic temperature compensation, or ATC, that's pretty good. Maybe replacement probes, and maybe one with a 2 or 3 point calibration. And please, for your quality of life, get a waterproof one. I, however, am a cheap bastard, so do whatever your heart desires. Once you have a meter though, you can just follow the instructions that came with it, but it's usually just calibrating and then dipping a probe into the water. EC, on the other hand, is, again, electrical conductivity. It measures how salty, heavy, or dense your nutrient mix is. Pure water doesn't conduct electricity, but the mineral salts, which are your plant food, do. The more nutrients that are dissolved in your water, the higher the electrical current, which explains the EC reading. You'd probably want something between 0 to 2.2 depending on your stage of growth, but I encourage you to do your own research because everything really does end up being strain specific. For an EC meter though, you'd probably want something with dual display to change between different versions of EC, like ppm, also known as parts per million, and even that is 2 different scaling standards like 500 and 700, so having a meter that handles both can prevent conversion mistakes. You'd also probably want the automatic temperature compensation, also the ATC, just like pH, and of course, waterproofing. Other than that, yeah, it's the same thing. You just calibrate and dip that sucker in. You can get a little more nuanced, but that's the basics. And again, I am a cheap bastard. EC and pH work together in tandem to allow your plant to absorb the nutrients, so if your EC is perfect, but your pH is wrong, your plant can't eat. If your pH is perfect, no pun intended, but your EC is way too high, you will burn the roots to a crisp. So getting them both in that sweet range is one of the many different variables that determine if you grow ditchweed or the keys to the cannabis kingdom, bitch. You can change your pH by just using common pH up and down, which are alkaline and acid agents respectively, in the water before you feed, depending on your starting pH. So you can use fresh lemon juice, You can use plain white vinegar to lower the pH, and you could use baking soda to rise it. But these organic acids break down from microbial activity in the water in like a day or two. So if you're using a reservoir, that pH will spike back if you're not careful. I've personally never done it, so I'm not sure how effective it is, but if you're in a pinch, it could definitely hold you over. You can change your EC by just using less nutrients. It's not really common to remove nutrients from the water before you feed, especially, if you put too much, but you can start with distilled or reverse osmosis water to start with a low EC. Some places can have hard tap water, which has a higher EC because of the calcium and magnesium, which are actually good for your plant, but there's also things like chlorine or chloramine that can harm your plants. Not to mention, you have less headroom for nutrients because you're starting higher. I have hard tap water, and I just let the chlorine evaporate before feeding. Chlorine, though, not chloramine, which might be in yours, and that doesn't evaporate, but sometimes I still have to add CalMag myself anyways. Again, like always, your mileage may vary. But yeah, that's kind of it. That's all I got today, baby. I'm just chilling, doing my thing. These plants are looking nice. They're looking good. They're flowering up, button up. I haven't had smoke in a while, so I'm ready for it. I'm very excited. Thanks to all the new subscribers. Hello, welcome, subscribers. More content on the way every Monday, hopefully. Maybe a little bit more than that. That's all I got. Enjoy, like, subscribe, do the thing. See ya, bitch.